Michael, just how much are you looking forward to this Old Firm game?
Really looking forward to it. It's the derby of all derbies, I think. It's a fantastic game. It's watched worldwide. It's a privilege to be involved in it. I'm really looking forward to it. It's obviously been the date that I've been looking forward to the most since coming back into the club.
Given what you said about having to win all the games between now and the end of the season, is this game going to set the tone for Rangers in terms of the second half of the season?
Yeah, you get 3 points for it, don't you, like the others? And that's what I was trying to say last week, that the 3 points against Motherwell is important. After this game, whatever happens, we have to get 3 points at Dundee United as well. You know, it's not win this game and everything's rosy. I realise what I've come into. If a club changes a manager after 15 games in a league, it's obviously because something's not going so well and there's an uphill struggle to maybe win the league. I think at the moment my players and my staff can only do what they've done, which is win the 4 games into this game. Having the centre halves back the last couple of games, we've obviously kept 2 clean sheets, which is pleasing. And in 3 of the 4 games, we've scored 3 goals. So as much as I want more, at this moment in time, they have done what's there. We'll get a lot of feedback after the game on the 2nd, but then we have to go to Dundee United and everywhere else afterwards and keep winning. The margin for error is very small.
Yeah, so you accept that if you have any chance of the title, it has to be a win on Monday?
We're at the halfway stage, so I don't know what Celtic's results are going to be in the next 19 games, but you would say how it's been up to now has been fantastic in any season, in any league, but certainly here in Scotland. If a team win 18 out of 19, you'd have to say they've had outstanding form. That is the fact. Ours has not been as strong, hence me being here, but since I've been here, it's been pretty good. What I don't want to do is hold back where we need to get to. I think we'll have feedback. It's the sternest test we can have. After the game, I'll know exactly the job that I have to get Rangers back on top.
Is Alfredo Morelos, how's his fitness?
Well, he came in yesterday and he felt better. Today he's on a 2nd-day recovery. The team will train again tomorrow, and as far as I can see at this moment in time, he'll be available. Antonio will be available as well. Kamal will be touch and go because he's done slightly less. He will definitely be available if Alfredo isn't. It's one of those situations where you sort of... I think we've used 20 players in the 4 league games where I've tried to get the group to where we are now. If Alfredo comes through, then we've played our cards quite well in terms of getting to this point with everybody a little bit fitter and stronger than they were a month ago.
Can you afford to take a gamble with them, given that there's 5 substitutes these days?
I think so. I think the game's changing. I think players will play a little bit longer in their careers because of it. I also think the speed of the game can pick up as well, because you can change half your team in terms of outfield players. So there's definitely benefits from it. I like the 5 sub rule, to be honest. It enables me tactically to change things like I've had to do at Aberdeen, and I'm sure at times I'll have to change it the other way and shore things up. In the season where we won the league, someone like Bongani Zungu played 24 times and no one noticed him play 5, but it was important that he came on in certain games.
Just in terms of the experience you talk about, how important is that to have all that back for this game?
It's hugely important. Listen, let's be honest, we don't have the rhythm that Celtic have right now. We don't, that's a fact. It's not an excuse. We have had the 2 centre-backs back for 2 games and maybe 30 minutes against Aberdeen, and since then we've looked a lot stronger. Do we look watertight? No. I don't think we ever will, because we like our 2 full-backs to play on the last line, which opens the pitch up. There's a reason why we can score 3 goals. Sometimes you have to give up a chance to do that. I think at this moment in time, all the rhythm, all the form, all of the continuity, all the consistency is in the other camp. That's fine. 2 teams play the game and I'm looking forward to it.
Is the feeling that the performance needs to be better than the last 4 if you're to get something from this game?
The result needs to be the same. The performance, whatever it takes to get it, as long as the result is the same, I'll be happy. You won't see me unhappy on Monday evening if we've won and not performed well. I still will stick to the comment that I need to see where this group's at and how far they've got to go. This is the sternest test. They are the champions coming here. A year ago, you'd be sat here interviewing a Rangers manager that was in front. So a lot's changed in 12 months, and it's important we start moving back to changing it in our favour again. Fair play to them. Their form in the last year has been excellent. I think Ange has done a very good job. I think he we have a mutual acquaintance who come to visit me many years ago when I was at Liverpool, maybe 8 years ago, so I've been aware of Ange for a number of years. I think some of you guys weren't aware of him and his history, and he's certainly shown that he's very good at his job, and he's got everyone's respect for that.
How different a side are they now to the side that you faced last time you were here?
Probably a parallel to where we're at, under me coming in 5 or 6 games, to where we were under Steven Gerrard. I think so. He's taken them from one place of being uncertain, maybe a lot of uncertainty around some players, to being very certain and recruiting and doing well in terms of the style. I think we've seen in Europe and in some domestic games they can be vulnerable like any team. It's important that my team focus on that and we play to our truest level, and if we do, the game will be close. If we don't, it won't be. But that's the same against anybody when you play with 2 even teams.
What did you enjoy most about this fixture last time round?
It's a real privilege. It's the real privilege to be involved in this fixture. It's the fixture the whole world puts their eyes on Scottish football. It's a fixture that we should celebrate. I don't like some of the things around the fixture, but in terms of I talk about the football and the spectacle, I think it's an amazing game. I loved watching it as a young kid. I loved watching it as a fan. I love being involved in it as an assistant. And listen, I've got no fear about playing this game, only excitement and wanting to see where my team's at right now. I don't want the talking to stop and to play the game. At this moment in time, everybody in the media would say Celtic couldn't be any stronger. Okay, what an opportunity is for us to see where we are then.
It can get a bit fiery.
Sorry, Michael, how confident are you that you can get 3 points on Monday when you say the team aren't quite where you would like them to be yet?
I'm still hugely confident. It's Rangers at Ibrox against anybody. You know, last year at times there was adversity in terms of domestic results, and in Europe we was able to perform extremely well. In the one-off game, I think they know they're in a match. We certainly know we're in a match as well. I'm looking forward to it. We'll meet them at the halfway line and we'll look at them head on and we'll go for the 3 points. We won't be making a step backwards. If we look like we're making a step backwards, it's because they got the upper hand in the game. But we won't be making a step backwards for Celtic or anyone that comes to Ibrox.
Where would you say this game ranks in your managerial career so far?
It's a lovely one. So whether you want to say it's a big one or not, that's what I'm looking for. So I'm extremely excited about the game, very optimistic about what my team can produce, and we'll get feedback. Like we say, at the end of it, come Tuesday or Monday evening, I'll still have a job to do, a real big job to do. I'll still have a lot of work to do. The window opens, obviously, before the game, but our focus is on the game. We'll look to strengthen in different areas, and we'll look to move forward. What's clear is there's a big job on here, but we're about to play a derby at home. What's there not to look forward to?
You mentioned after the Motherwell game you were happy with the results, but perhaps not the performances, but you've got the results. Do you think that kind of edge of expectation is a good thing for the team, that they haven't quite clicked, but then they've got this huge game where hopefully things do come together?
Yeah, listen, you want to see things in practice a little bit more smooth, I would say, a little bit more in rhythm. But when I sit back, I worked here previously for 193 games, I think, and we didn't always win, every 4 games. We didn't always score 3 goals. We also scored 3 goals against Leverkusen, so there's been good things. I've taken the positives of Connor and Ben, who are not 100%, coming back into the team and getting 2 clean sheets, and in the 30 minutes they played together at Aberdeen as well, we didn't give up a shot on our goal. So in that sense, there has been positives. I think this group are used to me being very demanding, and I think they need me to, and I think everyone does. They receive the same honesty as that you do as well. I just want to be honest that we need to keep moving forward. Wherever we get to as a football club moving forward, I still will be wanting more. I think that's just the nature of football.
In terms of your previous stint here, you weren't the guy in charge. This time you are the guy in charge. Do you feel any particular pressure or responsibility going into this game?
No, responsibility, yeah, to a lot of people that support this club, and this game means a hell of a lot. I've travelled back home to see my family in the last 24 hours, so travelling back's interesting. You bump into a lot of people of both sides, everyone very polite, I've got to be honest. The game's a huge privilege to play, and I feel the responsibility every day. I wasn't last week, I don't want them comments to be misconstrued. We have to beat everybody in this league if we want to be at the top, because the team who's setting the pace at the moment has won 18 out of 19 games. That's excellent. That's fantastic. We're in a league where in the Premier League maybe 4 or 5 can win it, maybe Serie A 3 or 4, maybe Portugal 3 big clubs, Holland 3 big clubs. Here, it's fatal if you drop points outside of the derbies, and that's the situation. That's probably why I'm in the job. So far, so good in the 4 games. We've managed to pick up 4 wins. It's not been vintage by any stretch. It's not exactly how I want it to look. But the most important thing was to win the 4 games. And if we do well in this game, it doesn't mean we can have a day off at Dundee United next week, which we know will be extremely tough as well. So the situation we're in is not ideal, but I just want to play this game for what it is, which is a derby, and I want to see something from my team and my club in that game. And after it, I'll have feedback. We'll either be where I think we should be, we'll either be a long way from it, or we'll be somewhere in between, which is probably what I'm predicting right now. There'll be good and bad things in the game, but we need that feedback because we need to improve and move forward, because second's not good enough here.
You touched on the... Sorry.
You've spoken recently about the need to cut out individual errors. Do you feel they're coming from a confidence place or a concentration point of view, and how do you coach around that?
It is the area of the pitch that's concerned me. So in the back or the middle third, it's concerned me. In the final third, I want them to risk the ball and try things. I want Malik to go on his little dribbles. I want Ryan to be as expressive as ever. It's just in that middle to back third. Maybe it's a focus thing. I just felt at times the other night that there was too many passing errors. I think when I look back, I think the team had something like 87% passing accuracy, but it didn't feel like that. It didn't feel like that at all. I thought every player maybe had 1 or 2 unopposed passing errors, and that doesn't enable us to get rhythm. I've looked back at the goals in that game. The first goal come off of 12 passes, the second goal come off of 19, the goal at Ross County come off of 12. So there's an element of having control and then changing speed. They're all the things we have to go on. You know, it'd be different if I came in and followed the last manager's ideas and ways, but I can't do that because it's different to my beliefs. I thought it was good. It was good enough to do really well in a number of games, but I have to imprint mine. And certainly as a team, because we open up, we take more risks in terms of our positioning. You know, James and Borna get really high. I think that's a successful, I've had success with that in the past. You see with the goal the other night where Borna is, it's important that we allow Borna to be Borna Barisic. So in doing that, we have to know what the weaknesses are. And I think that's the area, the grey area that we've got to improve on.
In terms of imprinting that vision, when you first came in, you put your backroom staff together and you said there might be another person joining at some point as well. Is that any further along? Have you got a position in mind or a person in mind?
I just want to assess everything at the moment. You know, in every management staff, you maybe, I would say, want someone who's a continuity of the club. That's probably me now. Someone who knows the league, that's probably me now. I'm probably covering a few bases because I got here before. I wanted to bring a staff in, obviously, from outside that didn't have the preconceptions that maybe I had and was bringing back in. I wanted people to come in with clean eyes. And then I'm going to continually assess. I've given opportunity for 1 or 2 that are in-house to almost work in this period and be promoted in terms of more responsibility. And I'm enjoying that at the moment. I don't feel the big need that there's anything missing in my staff. I think my staff are enjoying it. They've played 4 games and won 4. And the reality of football is there's something in the post.
You touched on strengthening in January. Is that still in the assessing stage as well, or are you close to concluding anything in that regard?
They have to come in to start. That's my big thing now. Like, as a squad that we have, it would be nice if Kamal Roof, Tom Lawrence, Yanis Hadji and Antonio Colac would have been available to me, because them 4 players could play as our front 4. Another 4 could be injured and we would be no weaker for it. So I think they're starters that have been unavailable. Ben Davis, a starter that's been unavailable. Borna, Connor Goldson, starters have been unavailable. So if someone's coming into the building, you should view it that they're coming in to start. If they're not and they're someone for later on, you'll hear that in my voice because I'll be honest about it. But in the main, we don't need any more squad players here at Rangers. We need people to come in to improve the starting 11. I think that's clear for everybody to see.
Michael, you talked about this being the litmus test for your squad. You've got that 12th man in the stand in your back pocket. the fans, they'll make a difference. But is this a last chance audition for some of the starting 11 that you'll have out on Monday?
I don't know about that. I think I want to see a collectively strong performance. I think when everybody has clarity that the individuals within the team will play stronger. I wouldn't want to go down that route. I think people at different stages of their Rangers career, I think that's fair to say. And I think that to be part of Rangers squad, you have to be successful in these games. These are the games that you're judged on. The players are more than aware of that. We have hardly anyone going into their first Old Firm game, which is a bonus. And some of the players have ridden the highs and the lows of this fixture, as I have myself.
You talked about rhythm that Celtic have. I covered the Aberdeen-Celtic game. It wasn't working for their front three. They just swapped them out with an equivalently good front three, and that's the option that you don't have. That's the option that you don't necessarily have off the bench.
No, but that gives a peace of mind to the players that are playing, that they know I trust them and they're out there. Would I like a fully fit Kamaru, Antonio Colac, Hadji and Lawrence to do exactly the same as Celtic? Definitely. And that's why when I make statements about our squads not being too far apart, I'm saying it with experience, and I'm also saying it with a lot of knowledge as well. I'm not being disrespectful. I think Celtic have some fantastic players, and I think that the manager has recruited ever so well. He's not just a good coach, he's recruited very well and all, which every good manager has to do. So, no, I think you're right. Sometimes having too many options, you can muddle the water as well, though.
Good afternoon, Michael. Just a quick couple. I know you were part of the management team in the previous game this season, but could you take anything from that game at Parkhead? Any learning points from that?
Not really, no. If I'm honest, I've tried to focus on the games when we have done well. There were certain parts of that game that we wouldn't want to repeat. I think that's fair to say. And
slightly off topic, I mean, a sad day yesterday with the passing of Pele. You spent some time coaching in Brazil. Did your pass ever cross it? And what did he mean to you?
I got a video when I was young, Pele, the master of his method, where he had like his old Puma football boots on and they had different colour segments on them to where you should kick the ball, and it was at Villa Belmiro, the Santos Stadium. So I was hugely excited when in 2017, it was the 13th or 14th February, I remember the day because it was when my family come to join me in Brazil after not seeing her for 2 months. My children were 2 and 4 at the time. And that evening we beat Santos 3-1 at Villa Belmiro, and I was so excited to go there because of that video and Pele. Obviously, he was the king of football. It's sad, we obviously lost Maradona not so long ago, and now Pele as well, and Cruyff, who I'm a big Cruyff man. So, listen, the tributes to him, I'm the last person that should be giving a tribute to that man. But the tributes will be fantastic, and all the stuff we're seeing on TV as well is... if you're a football lover like we all are, it's fantastic to see. So condolences to him and his family, but everyone that loves football and everyone that's obviously Brazilian as well, because it's a nation in mourning today.
You've spoken a lot about the mentality of this Rangers side and trying to build the mentality of this Rangers team. Just how big a test of that is Monday?
Well, it's another opportunity for them to demonstrate it and to show where we are. I think at times last season in Europe, and then coming back and playing domestic games in between, semi-finals in between and stuff, and finals after extra time, and the passing of a member of staff as well all of a sudden. I don't know where the questions on mentality are with this group. I think that's cheap. I think it's poor to question the mentality of a group that showed last season, just 5 or 6 months ago, an unbelievable mentality. To win against the odds when things were happening where they weren't able to train because where they were. So I don't want to dig up old things, but for me the mentality of this group, even in the time I've been back, has been excellent.
And Michael, the last time you were at the club when you left, Rangers had the upper hand in these matches. Recently Celtic have had the better of things. How much are you looking forward to turning the tide in this fixture?
Yeah, that's the job, that's the challenge, isn't it? The challenge is to try and get the upper hand again in the Old Firm, in one of the biggest derbies in the world. No one likes to be second in that. We have to get the upper hand in that, and we have to get the upper hand against the other teams in the league that are trying to fight tooth and nail to get up there and challenge as well. We've not been successful so far this season in both situations. We obviously lost the first Old Firm, and we're behind on points against other teams in the league where we've dropped sloppy points at times, which have been very costly to us. So it's important we start moving in the right direction as soon as possible, and that was probably yesterday, not tomorrow, we needed to move forward.